What's the most fact you can make up that sounds true? Everyone's anus has the same number of ridges and folds, they just vary in size. Everyone's anus pattern is as unique as a fingerprint. Goes through airport. Okay sir, please bend over and spread your cheeks. Dave. Relax. Close your butt cheeks. Uganda has no escalators. Real fact. There are 2 escalators in the entire state of Wyoming. Edit. Got rid of Google AMP link. God, those things suck. That is rather odd. You would need a lot of elevators or a couple of large ones to move the number of people per minute that an escalator can. It seems that way anyway. It's a fake fact. Can't have 2 of something in a place that doesn't exist. He said Wyoming, not New Zealand. The average ant consumes more than 30 times its body weight in a month. Damn, their anuses must be incredibly loose. Yes, but that's for unrelated reasons. It's the varyingly sized ridges and folds. The average horse ejaculate has about as many calories as a Burger King Whopper. That's why I'm so fat. The one I always get people with is that they're called cops or coppers because their badges used to be made out of copper. I have genuinely believed this for quite a while now. From Wikipedia. In British English, the term cop is recorded, shorter Oxford Dictionary, in the sense of to capture from 1704, derived from the Latin capere via the Old French caper. The way to tell if a nut is a real nut or not is if nut is a separate word, e.g. peanuts and coconuts aren't nuts, but macadamia nuts are. Edit. Further research has shown I'm a dumbus, and pistachios are in fact seeds, so new e.g. So theoretically, these nuts are in fact nuts. These nuts are actually berries, like tomatoes and bananas, and unlike strawberries. Hence the saying, twigs and berries. Oh, so like dingleberries? Dingleberries are often nut adjacent. N-word is from the French nuit gars, meaning night man. What's up my night man? Due to selective breeding, modern horses actually put out 1.2 horsepower instead of the calculated 1 HP from back in the day. This is a stolen joke from the Painkiller Already podcast. One horse actually produces 14.9 horsepower. It will produce 19.47 horsepower if you give it coffee, and 19.39 horsepower if you give it Polish land. CVS stands for chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, as they originally opened as an ice cream shop. This kind of intuitively makes sense to me because drug stores used to be where you would buy sodas and ice cream. Wait, did you make this up? Reading this thread, nothing feels safe, lol. The term bouquet, as in a flower bouquet, came from Jacques Bouquet, who was an aspiring landscaper for nobles in the 15th century. However, he found no work, and instead resorted to arranging hand-held bunches of flowers for sale on the street. You're actually not far off from the truth. The man's name was Thomas Bouquet, and he was a collector of night soil, which is a polite way of saying poop. In order to help with his job, he invented a piece of equipment that looked similar to a bowl, albeit much deeper and adorned with a metal handle. Prior to the development of this bouquet, as he called it, collectors of night soil had to haul their burdens by hand. There was a downside to the invention, though. Despite making the job of collecting excrement much easier, the stench of a used bouquet was almost unbearable. In order to combat this, the inventor started selling assemblages of flowers which could be employed to offset the aroma, and those floral arrangements soon grew in independent demand. Then, after the United States broke away from England, linguists in the fledgling country chose to distinguish between a bouquet and a bucket, which was originally pronounced in almost the same way. Sadly, the fortune which should have gone to Thomas Bouquet's family was misplaced in the early 17th century, on account of the fact that I made all of this up, and they never existed at all. I'm going to end this in a way that tricks people who are skimming. To this day, the transition from bouquet to bucket is heralded as being the last known example of intentional linguistic evolution in an otherwise nearly crystallized language. TLDR. The bouquet was originally an implement used during the collection of night soil. Rocks can float in magma the same way that ice floats in water. Fuck, this one fits so well. It just hovers on the border of yeah, that makes sense, colder stuff rises. Sadly, water is just weird like that. Sadly? Think through what would happen if water wasn't weird like that. A single piece of macaroni is called a macaronus. Thank you for the 2 golds. Pretty sure it's a macarono. It's definitely macaranus. It's actually a macarona. People used to hire a specific servant to ensure that all the clocks in their house were kept wound and with correct times. This is the origin of the phrase night watchman. I wish this were true. I like it. This is all hurting my brain. I have to visualize all theories as if real, then have to tell my brain it is false. It's very important in colder climates to completely deflate the tires of your vehicle and refill them with new air on the day of the first frost. The air in the tires from summer has a significantly higher percentage of moisture and runs the risk of freezing in the tire come winter, causing serious damage to the integrity of the tire. You should also change your blinker fluid every other oil change. Fun fact. The reason blinkers need a special fluid is because they use special incandescent liquid halogen, unlike standard lights. That's why they're much brighter than typical headlights and glow orange. Over the course of a few years, the blinker fluid is slowly used up and must be replenished for the turn signals to work. People who neglect to change out their blinker fluid usually end up without their turn signals working and could end up with a citation or even jail time. It's a very small part of car maintenance and requires infrequent attention, but long-time car owners should ensure that they take proper care to ensure their blinkers don't run out on them. Funny thing about these bullshit fact threads, they actually started way before Reddit. They were really big into the 90s in early AOL chat rooms. The room would be called something like shit you made up or made up shit room. Is this your submission or a real fact? Not sure, but I used to be a writer for the daily email top 5 list, which itself was a takeoff on Letterman's top 10 list. And we would at least yearly have a top X facts you just made up list. This would have been in the early 2000s. Our 14th president, Zachary Fillmore, needed to hire a spell check after misspelling hundreds of words of official documents. I love how you completely made up a reasonable sounding president name as well. My dumbass was nodding along like, yes, I've heard of that guy waiting for the made up part to start. It's probably because you have, kinda. The 13th president was Millard Fillmore. So, you're not really a dumbass. And the 12th was Zachary Taylor. So does that make Zachary Fillmore the 12 and a half president of the United States, or is it just their ship name? Although often used as a slang term by American and British juveniles, dong is actually the longest surviving word for the male genitalia, having first come into common usage during the Xia dynasty in Bronze Age China. The inclusion of the prefix ding resulting in ding dong refers to a particularly impressive specimen. Ding dong is also used as an onomatopoeic example of a doorbell's chime, which has resulted in the joke. What did the housewife say when the well-developed salesman rang her doorbell? Broccoli is one of 3 plants capable of growing in active volcanoes, the others being Altangiaceae and Tetracarpia. Although yoga was originally invented in 1969, its roots date back as far as the 3rd century, when it was originally used as a method of self-flagellation by concubines who had been accused of smiling in the presence of a man. In the RAF, the rank of 4th lieutenant was given as a prank promotion to individuals who broke wind in the presence of a superior officer. When grown in captivity, exactly 1/4 of Venus flytraps, Dionia muscipula, will attempt to cannibalize their neighbors. This behavior has thus far defied all explanation. Due to an overlooked typo, which some suspect to be an intentional error, in a zoning commission report, 1/3 of Cincinnati, Ohio, is technically owned by a beagle named Dave. Although Dave passed away in 2003, a likeness of his paw print is still included on all official documentation from government offices in the 45,201, 45,202, 45,203, 45,204, 45,205, 45,206, and 45,207 zip codes. 90% of all Rubik's Cubes purchased are of the left-handed variety. The modern English alphabet has been pruned from 30 letters to 26 since its recognition as an official language in 1512. Of those removed, the letter K is the only one to still have a dominant sound in the dialect, recognized as the voiceless dental fricative th. The invention of the compact disc precipitated a 4% increase in the Earth's total oxygen. This was due to a declining demand for Eucalyptus musicalis, better known as the vinyl tree, thin pieces of which were used to make records.